A prayer for my daughter, W.B. Yeats. Once more the storm is howling, and half hid under this cradle hood and coverlid. My child sleeps on. There is no obstacle but Gregory's wood and one bare hill, whereby the haystack and roof-leveling wind, bred on the Atlantic, can be stayed. And for an hour I have walked and prayed, because of the great gloom that is in my mind. I have walked and prayed for this young child an hour, and heard the sea vine scream upon the tower, and under the arches of the bridge, and scream in the elms above the flooded stream, imagining in excited reverie that the future years had come, dancing to a frenzied drum, out of the murderous innocence of the sea. May she be granted beauty and yet not beauty to make a stranger's eye distraught, or hers before a looking-glass, for such, being made beautiful overmuch, consider beauty a sufficient end, lose natural kindness and maybe the heart-revealing intimacy that chooses right, and never find a friend. Helen being chosen found life flat and dull, and later had much trouble from a fool. While that great queen, that rose out of the spray, being fatherless could have her way, yet chose a bandy-legged smith for man. It's certain that fine women eat a crazy salad with their meat, whereby the horn of plenty is undone. In courtesy I'd have her chiefly learned. Hearts are not had as a gift but hearts are earned by those that are not entirely beautiful, yet many that have played the fool. For beauty's very self has charm made wise, and many a poor man that has roved, loved and thought himself beloved, from a glad kindness cannot take his eyes. May she become a flourishing hidden tree, that all her thoughts may like the linnet be, and have no business but dispensing round their magnanimities of sound. Nor but in merriment begin a chase, nor but in merriment a quarrel. O may she live like some green laurel, rooted in one dear perpetual place. My mind, because the minds that I have loved, the sort of beauty that I have approved, prosper but little, has dried up of late, yet knows that to be choked with hate may well be of all evil chances chief. If there's no hatred in a mind, assault and battery of the wind can never tear the linnet from the leaf, and intellectual hatred is the worst. So let her think opinions are accursed. Have I not seen the loveliest woman born out of the mouth of plenty's horn, because of her opinionated mind? Barter that horn and every good, by quiet nature's understood, for an old billows full of angry wind? Considering that, all hatred-driven hence, the soul recovers radical innocence, and learns at last that it is self-delighting, self-appeasing, self-affrighting, and that its own sweet will is heaven's will. She can, though every face should scowl, and every windy quarter howl, or every billows burst, be happy still, and may her bridegroom bring her to a house where all's accustomed, ceremonious, for arrogance and hatred are the wares peddled in the thoroughfares. How but in custom and in ceremony are innocence and beauty born? Ceremony's a name for the rich horn, and custom for the spreading laurel tree. The poem opens with a storm ragging while the speaker's child sleeps, protected by her cradle. The next lines contain a description of the land surrounding the child's home. Only a neighbor's wood and a small hill, with a haystack on it, buffer the home during strong winds from the Atlantic Ocean. The speaker explains he has been walking and praying because of his gloomy thoughts for the past hour. While walking and praying, the speaker has been listening to the wind hitting the tower where he lives, a bridge, and trees above a stream. The speaker imagines the future and compares it to a dancer coming out of the sea like the wind. In the next stanza, the speaker prays his daughter be given beauty, but not too much, as excessive beauty would cause unwanted attention from strangers, cause his daughter to believe beauty is more important than other qualities, like kindness and rightness, and leave her friendless. He uses Helen of Troy for an example of excessive beauty. The judgment of Paris, a Greek myth, is discussed. Helen's beauty is the reason Paris chose Aphrodite for the winner of his judgment. Aphrodite, in turn, chose Hephaestus. The decisions surrounding these beautiful women are examples of how a symbol of bountiful beauty, the horn of plenty, is ruined. He returns to praying for qualities he wants his daughter to learn, focusing on manners. He believes a kind demeanor will make a woman who is not excessively beautiful still somewhat attractive to the right suitor. Foolish men often value beauty, but most men will stick beside the woman who values kindness. The speaker compares his daughter to a tree. He hopes her thoughts will resemble a bird, and that she will be entertaining. Also, he prays she will be rooted, have a long-term home. Next, the speaker reflects on how loving excessively beautiful women has stagnated his mind. He is only certain that hate will ruin the chances a woman has and reverts to the bird metaphor. The absence of hate will allow the bird to stay on its leaf in the tree or, in other words, have a home. His condemnation of hate is narrowed to intellectual hatred in the following stanza. He believes a woman's hateful opinions can ruin even a bounty of beauty. He repeats the symbol of a corrupted horn of plenty to describe this. Returning to the storm imagery, he compares hateful speech to the wind. The poem changes direction and looks at what an absence of hate brings, a deep-rooted innocence of the soul. The soul can amuse itself and enact the will of heaven. Once she has rediscovered the soul's innocence, his daughter must remain happy. The speaker prays his daughter will find a husband who will provide her with a proper home. To the speaker, ceremony and custom are the only places where one can find beauty and innocence, respectively. He defines ceremony beauty as the horn of plenty and custom innocence as a victorious laurel tree, hearkening back to the stable home of the linate bird. I hope you understood the poem. Please share your feedback through comments. Happy learning!